I just got back from a walk with my dog, and it was so ridiculous that I can't not share it with you. Now, it started off fine. We were just walking down the road as you do on a walk. And then at the end of the street, she started sniffing around this pile of leaves. Okay, she was probably gonna do a poo, as that's what dogs do. Which fine. So she stopped and she squatted in this pile of leaves, but it was at the bottom of a staircase leading up to like someone's house, which would have been fine if the owner of that house had decided at that exact moment to open their door and walk out to see a stranger and her dog taking a shit on her doorstep. So this lady rightfully was like, oh my god. And I just looked at her, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't, like, what are you supposed to say? Like, my dog's taking a shit on her doorstep. Like, all I could do was apologize. She was like, just standing there looking between me and the dog. She was like, no, it's fine. As long as you, like, pick it up, that's okay with me. And I was like, yeah, I got a bag right here. Like, don't worry about it. So then Adelaide, the dog, finished her business, and I picked it up and, like, basically bundling it in leaves in this bag. And the lady was like, well, that was a surprise. Like, yeah, no shit. Except, like, actual shit on her doorstep. So we continued on walking. And the story doesn't end there. That's not as bad as it gets. So we walked down a little ways. We went to cross the street. And it's not at a set of lights. It's just one of the crossways where you press a button and, like, there's, like, lights above it that start flashing to tell the drivers that people want to cross the street. So we did that. We waited for the cars to stop, and then we were crossing, and someone was coming back, was like crossing the street in the opposite direction, who also had a dog, but it was this little black yappy thing. And as soon as that dog saw mine, it freaked out. It was like on its hind legs, barking and growling and yelping and like little dogs do. And Adelaide, she's afraid of little dogs. She's a big dog. She's afraid of little dogs. She's afraid of freaking everything. So she didn't know what to do. So she was like trying to pull in the opposite direction, but there was a car there, like waiting to continue its journey. And this guy was just like watching his dog try to eat mine. And he was like, chill, dog, chill, dog. Like literally telling his dog to chill. I was like, sir, I didn't actually say this, but I was like, sir, you need to control your dog because it's trying to eat mine. And we went across the street so that these people on both sides of the road can continue their journeys without having to witness this. So after his dog tried to eat mine, we like sidestepped each other and managed to continue walking. We were walking through the park, and the only, like, in this park, you're not technically supposed to let your dog off their leash, but everyone does, and like I usually only do when there's no one around. So there was no one in this park except for this bearded person in a dress and their friends, and so we passed them. And I let the dog off her leash, and she took off, which I knew she was going to do, but it was fine because no one was in the bar. And so she was sprinting across this park, and she stopped, and she flipped over and started rubbing her back on the ground. And usually when she does that, it means she's found a dead thing. She loves being smelly. Like, she's more of a pig than a dog, really. So she was rolling around, and then she was sprinting back and forth across the, like, pathway, the walkway. Excuse me. And then I managed to get her back on her leash, and she rolled back over, and there was this like strip of just like dark wetness on her back. It's like, that's not mud. That's a dead thing. So her back smelled disgusting, but I couldn't do anything about it because we're in the middle of the park, and all I had was like my phone. I was like, just stay dirty, we'll clean you up when we get home. And then she loves sticks. She's like a stereotypical dog that loves sticks. And so she saw this big one and she pounced on it. But when she pounced, her paw got wrapped around the leash. And then somehow like the stick also got stuck in the leash. So I think it was like jabbing into her stomach, because she started howling. And like Adelaide doesn't make any noise. She doesn't bark, she doesn't growl. Like the most noise she makes is when she yawns. So she started like the human equivalent of screeching in pain. And there were people passing me on the sidewalk, like giving me dirty looks. I was like, I'm not doing this to the dog, I swear. And like her leash was also wrapped around my arm, so I couldn't just drop it to like loosen the tension. And she was scared, so she was trying to pull away, which was making it tighter, which was making the stick jab into her more, which was making her yelp more. And I was just like, oh my god, why is this happening? So eventually the like stick came loose and fell, and she stopped yowling. But the leash was still like wrapped around her foot, so I tried to fix it, but she tried to pull away. So the leash like wrapped around her face, and I was like, this needs to stop. Like, this cannot get any worse. And then it started to rain. Like, of course it did. Of course it started to rain. So after that, I was like, we're going home. We're not going to continue, like, this big loop I was planning on. We're just going to go home. So luckily we got back to the house with, like, no other issues. I was like, why? Why is this happening? So that's my story of the day.